the best in the world.
What I'd like to have right now.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Because I will fight for the cool.
Are you ready?
It doesn't matter!
I said, are you ready?
I'm a sexy beast, baby!
I was up all night.
And
And here we go.
When you listen to your podcast, you listen to it for
Life.
Cheyenne here, co-hosting the For Life podcast, alongside my partner,
Bosch.
Big Bad Boss. A lot of topics to cover for the debut podcast. I am so excited that we are finally, literally finally, getting ready to get this done. Big ups to you for the intro. It really encompasses the fandom that we are in wrestling. It's got all of our favorites on there. Quick little shout out because I noticed this yesterday. Yesterday would have been the 55th birthday of Ravishing Rick Rude.
Of course, and he's one of your favorites.
One of my absolute
Ravishing
favorites.
one.
Top 5.
Easily.
Should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Easily top 5. He's probably 3 behind Jake and Savage on my list.
What about Flair?
Well, Flair should go in again. Because Flair, first of all, he's been...
Should have 4 rings.
First of all, Flair's got 4 rings at this point. Not many people know this, but Flair's got a ring for 08. He's got the Horseman ring, and then he gave the Horseman ring up, and Triple H gave him a new ring. I think Flair should go in as the Black Scorpion.
And for Evolution.
Evolution totally should go in as a group. And Black
He have
Scorpion.
four rings on each hand. One for all of his weddings. And
we have to go. But nobody brings up Taker's been married 4 times. Taker, if you listen, please don't kick my ass.
he's going to go 21-0.
I'm sure we'll get there when the season comes. Slammies. We'll start with the Slammies.
Absolutely.
I think that's the best way to go. Slammies.
Everybody's excited for the Slammies in the WWE universe.
In the WWE universe, in the universe era, not the
Fans.
PG era that somebody had the audacity to label it the other day. So critical. The wrestling fans of the. No, somebody labeled it the reality era. The reality era. Just so critical, some of the wrestling fans. I always love the Slammies. We talked about this all week. Why WWE chooses not to use that as a special or have it as its own separate entity in itself, I'll never know. But the Slammies are really cool, especially for old school fans of both the 80s and the 90s, because both decades got 2 Slammies.
Yeah, I actually went back and watched 86 and 87.
Right.
Both around the time I was born, before my co-host was born. But, 86 was more of a rock and wrestling era.
Yeah.
Like, let's acknowledge the music and the music videos.
That was off of Wrestling Album 1.
Yes.
That was the feedback from that. Cyndi Lauper was on that. A lot of WrestleMania build-up was on that. But Slammy's 87
was spectacular. It was an award show. We had the cars and limos and bikes and everything coming in.
And it had Vince McMahon stealing the show, doing Stand Back.
Stand Back.
What better than, second best, Rick Rude winning the Jesse Body Award.
That was
amazing.
I saw this yesterday. And
amazing. Jesse Ventura was so into it. I'm not going to go any further than that because he's like,
stole the show. And Honky Tonk Man had an absolutely amazing performance.
Honky Tonk and
with the Hart Foundation.
With the Hart Foundation, and I think Honky Tonk was better than when Jimmy Hart did Eat Your Heart Out Rick Springfield the year before that. Definitely, which is a really really good song.
Unfortunately, my version of the Slammies that I saw on YouTube completely cut out Stand Back, so I had to look for it separately.
Stand Back is actually one of the hardest videos to watch on YouTube.
Like a good version of it.
A good version of it. If you don't have the McMahon DVD, then you're pretty much not watching.
Just like my version of the Slammies 96 and 97 don't have Todd Pettingill's opening scene.
Really?
Yes.
That sucks, because that's a cool...
That's the highlight of the show.
Hooray for Superstars with the Warrior Jab?
Yeah.
That sucks.
But
that
anyways,
sucks. What do we got this year for nominees? Match of the year.
Let's see, match of the year.
Which I gotta talk. If we go into length about anything,
it's match of the year.
It's match of the year.
Okay, here we go for match of the year. Where the hell is it? I think I remember it off the top of my head.
Because I have a legitimate gripe. You're going to say all the categories, and then I'm going to just...
Okay, match of the... I remember it was Taker and Punk, WrestleMania.
Punk, sure.
Rock and Cena, WrestleMania.
Rock and Cena, too.
I was there live for that match, and I was ready to get the hell out of that cold-ass stadium. What was the other one? It was Brock and Triple H.
Brock and Triple H.
Extreme Rules.
2.
Extreme Rules.
Oh, 3, rather.
Cage match. I didn't even see that match.
I saw it. It wasn't bad.
And the fourth nominee is The Shield versus the Rhodes Brothers at... What was Battleground?
Believe it or not, Shields versus the Rhodes.
That was a really good
I want
match.
to win.
That was a good
That
match.
was a fantastic match. A tremendous amount of emotion is invested.
I was there. I actually went to a bar for my birthday to see Battleground, which my co-host missed.
What kind of shit is that?
But that was the only highlight of the show. I feel like there are a lot of nominees that have been left out, such as if you're going to pick one pay-per-view to choose 2 matches from, I think that would be SummerSlam with Brock Lesnar and CM Punk and
Right.
Daniel Bryan and John Cena.
Right? Okay.
There was also Punk Cena from Raw, which I was going to say.
You gotta... How can you leave Punk Cena out? Like, how can you leave that out? Legit.
And to put Rock, Cena...
Out of the nominees for that category... I mean, I think I know who's going to win, but I would want Rhodes versus the Shield to win. But how can you leave
those matches?
Cena and Punk out? Maybe it's an issue of variety on WWE's part. Maybe they didn't want a lot of nominees for that.
Maybe since they already won.
Maybe since they've already won in the past. I don't know,
but I think they should have been in there. Brock and Punk was a great match.
Brock and Punk was fantastic.
And Daniel Bryan,
Cena. Also, I'm surprised that the third Lesnar Triple H match was the nominee. While the cage match was great and it was a nice blow off, I thought the Mania match was better
because they didn't want 3 Mania matches nominated against the Battleground match.
That comes with the territory. It's WrestleMania. Everybody's
I think if there was a Brock match, it would have been Punk because unless that's Triple H stroking his ego.
Brock Punk was better than the cage match.
Yeah.
Not saying that the cage match was a bad match. It was a good blow off. But I was surprised that they went to do 3 matches, honestly. I thought WrestleMania was going to be the blow off, but then Extreme Rules, it was.
But I guess with Brock signing the extension to his deal, he needed the win back.
Yeah, he needed the win back, but it's going to be interesting seeing who Brock's going to go against when WrestleMania season comes. I'm not going to talk predictions because it's a little early. Bret Hart presenting Match of the Year. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he's been winner of Match of the Year many times. I can't think of anybody else. And I mean, in the past, it's been in previous Slammies, like the ones in the 90s, it was JR.
Right.
Which would not be, it's not going to happen.
Well, as the voice of WWE, that kind of makes sense to me. I actually want to, because I don't know if you knew this or not. This is a pre-show award, but John Laurinaitis made his return to WWE television last week on
Survivor Series?
On the Survivor Series pay-per-view in a backstage segment. He's presenting Breakout Star of the Year. The nominees for that are the Wyatt family, Big E, Fandango, and The Shield. To most fans, I honestly think it's one of those things where it should be like, how the hell can you pick someone?
Yeah.
I know if it was me, even though I have a super soft spot for Fandango,
he hasn't really lit the world on fire.
I'm actually gonna go say that's booking and not him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Wyatts are gonna take it and not the
Really?
Shield. I'm gonna go with the Wyatts.
I think Big E's been pretty impressive as of late. I mean,
Big E's been fantastic. I just don't think he's gonna take it.
I mean, I enjoy him on Twitter, but I feel like he needs to bring that personality out a lot more. I mean, he a little bit on commentary, but I've seen him on Twitter. Yeah. I've seen the Bound 2 parody with Caitlyn at the toy store. Cool. But as far as the Shield, I feel like all 3 of them have been breakout. I mean, right now Roman Reigns is
that's the guy that
on track to the
main. That's the guy we're being fed. But I feel like you can't. WWE's in that phase where it's time for the Shield to break up. I honestly don't think it's time for them to break up, believe it or not.
I think they still have
I think they still got some steam left in that run. But I don't think you can just discount Rollins and Ambrose, obviously.
Oh, definitely. Rollins is great on the mic.
Ambrose was great as John Moxley. I was following him the whole time. If you've never seen Dean Ambrose when he was Jon Moxley against Daniel Bryan, which features a bloody Jon Moxley and Daniel Bryan shouting, "I'm going to kick his fucking head in."
That was a Daniel Bryan chant in the Indies.
If you've never seen that match, you need to YouTube.
And I've been
Don't stop listening to us, but YouTube it after you.
And I've been following Rollins since he was Tyler Black in Ring of Honor years, just like I've been following the rest of these indie guys. And I've always been a fan of Tyler Black.
Yes. And Reigns I've been following since he was Leaky, back when it was still FCW. Leaky was great. He was a nice breakout star. And I think, he's really one of those guys that just gets better with every match.
Yeah, he's improved a lot considering it. When he first started, it was like, okay, who's this guy? He's the muscle of the Shield. Like, in a way, he reminds me of like a young Batista.
Yeah.
Like, just 10 years younger.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he has the charisma, he has the look, and he's a lot younger than Batista, so I see a lot more longevity out of him. And he's got the lineage. Come from a great family.
I don't know why WWE doesn't, mention that, Big E was a NXT champion. I think that's something they have to incorporate more into the regular television. When he debuted and he did the big ending on Cena. They were like, "That's FCW, that's
NXT
champion Big E Langston." When the Shield debuted, those are NXT stars: Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And then after that, the WWE
they never capitalized on that with the Wyatts.
When somebody debuts, mention that. Embrace that, and then on top of that, when you get the guys to watch the show on Hulu, which the fact that WWE has released all of the NXT episodes on Hulu from the Triple H.
That's the only reason I subscribe to Hulu.
Yeah,
I mean they actually have all the NXT episodes from Daniel Bryan debuting against Jericho, but and then there was like that terrible period in the middle, and now it's. I mean, I try my best to watch it every week. Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville had an amazing match. I watched this week's episode. There's a lot of good talent down there. And I mean, unfortunately, they got rid of Cassius Ohno.
Who's back on the Indies already. He had a show right here in Brooklyn 2 weeks ago, and he actually did the pedigree during his matchup. That got a huge pop out of the crowd, I heard. I got to miss that. He was on, I think that was the Dragon Gate show in Brooklyn.
Dragon Gate.
And he didn't take on Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson's in Japan right now. But he had a really great match, and he said in his interview he didn't say nothing bitter. He was very open, but he didn't say anything bitter. He said it's just goodbye for now. It's not goodbye forever. And I think he just says, okay, I'm still a wrestler. Yeah, this is what
I've been following him for years, also since he was Chris Hero. I loved him in Ring of Honor. He was great. But
a lot of the guys that are coming up now are guys that we've been following
for years,
forever. Like
Sami Zayn.
What Consequences Creed, I was following on the Indies, and I was a fan of his in
TNA.
So he had the Apollo Creed gimmick.
And I enjoy his. I mean, considering we're big fans of the '90s, and I've seen him in NXT where he incorporates more of the '90s references and more of a '90s gimmick. He
shouts, "It's morphin' time!" That's an automatic
pop right there.
Right there. You do that. He does that in the Garden one night. I'm sure the place is going to blow the roof off the joint.
So let's see what other categories we have here. Superstar of the Year, presented by my favorite,
kid,
Shawn Michaels.
The WWE's Babe Ruth, in my opinion.
We have John Cena, Randy Orton,
Viper,
CM Punk,
best in the world,
Daniel Bryan,
yes,
Big Show, and
also yes, champ in a way,
Brock Lesnar,
and the Beast.
I mean, I love Punk, but I think Daniel Bryan has come along. I mean, Punk has had a lot of great matches, especially during the first half of the year with The Rock, Taker, Jericho, Lesnar. He's had amazing matches, and so has Daniel. I mean, Daniel Bryan's just come such a long way, and he has the crowd behind us.
Forget, because you just mentioned Jericho Punk from Payback was not on the Match of the Year list, and Jericho mentioned that this morning on Twitter, I believe it was. In terms of Superstar of the Year, believe it or not, if they were to do an angle where the establishment gives it to Orton, I think that would be cool. That would make sense. I think that would be logical. I don't see Show winning it, even though Show is the top babyface to me right now, even though he's fiddled out.
Yeah.
With Cena coming back. I don't see Show winning it. It would be cool if he did. Believe it or not, Brock has a lot more steam than I feel like the IWC gives him credit for to be a nominee, because he did have a better year than his first WWE run, because, in the same year he was messing with Triple H and with Cena, and he had That Triple H feud was really, really personal.
Yeah,
It was really, really heated.
And it was something that a lot of fans didn't get during Brock's first run.
Right.
Like they were the top two guys, but they never really crossed paths.
Did it. And it was on the books at some point to do Triple H Lesnar the same way Triple H JBL never happened, and that was a big thing for us.
Definitely, yeah, because they were both
we wanted to see Triple H JBL, and it never happened. But I see it going to Orton. Do I want Daniel Bryan to win? Do I think he should win? Absolutely, but I'm not holding my breath on it.
I mean, I can see with Sean presenting the award, since it is the universe voting. Like maybe it'll be like some screwy.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Bryan does win it, but he awards it to Orton after what happened at Hell in a Cell. I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow evening.
I don't see Cena winning twice, believe it or not.
No.
I don't see Cena winning twice.
Same thing with Punk. It'll be between Orton and Daniel Bryan.
Now, an award that we have to talk about, if for nothing else, and for you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the only podcast, made by non-wrestling people that has a Slammy Award nominee. Let me bring this up right now, okay? Best Crowd of the Year, my partner, The Bosch, is a nominee for a Slammy. I'm super jealous, as I'm a YouTube icon, and this man is a Slammy nominee. Best Crowd of the Year, it's a WWE.com award, but do not be hurt by that. The nominees for that are WWE Payback, Chicago, Illinois, the SummerSlam crowd in Los Angeles, California, the Raw crowd in England on April 22nd, and of course, the East Rutherford, New Jersey crowd in the Raw the night after WrestleMania. My opinion, Crowd of the Year.
Definitely.
You were part of it. You're going to be a Slammy winner.
I really hope so. It's been my lifelong dream since...
Exactly.
I might not be WWE champion any day, but I can at least be a Slammy Award winner. That crowd was unbelievable. I mean, it took a while for the show to pick up, but once Dolph Ziggler cashed in the Money in the Bank, which I predicted a month prior to Mania that he would cash in the night after Mania, which is also nominated, I see, for Awesome Moment.
For Awesome Moment.
This is awesome, which I hope that wins, because the crowd was... We wanted Ziggler to win. We got it. We got the tease that he might not win. He was in the armbar, but it was great. We actually moved our seats down pretty close right before it happened, so we were right in the middle of it, and from there the crowd was just on fire. After that we had Taker come out with the Shield. Then we had the Sheamus and Orton match with
the wave. And
with the crowd took over. We chanted for anything and everything imaginable. We chanted for the announcers. We chanted for
Savage,
Mike Chioda. We chanted Justin Roberts, MVP. This didn't air on TV. This was during the commercial, but somebody spotted X-Pac in one of the boxes. Okay. And that started a huge "We Want X-Pac" chant, which he embraced and started doing the crotch chop. Unfortunately, that didn't make it onto TV.
Oh, man.
It took me a while to figure out what everybody was doing, but everybody was fandangoing and
how can you not
we started the wave. We chanted "We Are Awesome," and if we do win the award, I'm going to post a bonus podcast.
Okay.
The bus ride from Izod to Port Authority.
That has to be amazing.
It's on YouTube, but
I'm not going to be on that show. So
I'm going to post it up. The entire bus ride. I don't know how this bus driver didn't fucking drive off a bridge. But if we win, I will give an acceptance speech and post it as a bonus podcast on Tuesday.
Right. Okay. I can do that. Now, say what quote of the year. This is a big thing for me because I'm a promo guy. I'm a quote guy. This is a big deal. I'm glad WWE embraced this as a category, even though it's a WWE.com award. Nominees for Say What Quote of the Year. Paul, say something stupid. The Brock Lesnar quote, which I thought was great. Rise above this. Damian Sandow before cashing in. The Volcano Eruption, which I thought was a fantastic promo. If Big Boss is listening, he's going to tell me that's what should win. But to me, the person that should win is I'm in my boy's corner and I'll be your huckleberry all night long. Dusty Rhodes. I still, when I'm bored and I need a laugh, I look up that promo because it was amazing. Amazing.
Hands down.
Hands down. I got to talk about this. Why isn't this on the show? The You Still Got an award. And I got a problem with one of the nominees. And I'm going to put some of my personal feelings aside towards one of the nominees. But I'll just get Bruno Sammartino is nominated.
He hasn't wrestled. I mean, you still got it that you came back to
Not only
accept the
that,
whole.
I met the guy. He's in fantastic shape for his age. But first of all, when he came back
Yeah.
and made the first ever Raw appearance,
It was during a commercial.
during a commercial. WWE tried to get it the last time they were in Pittsburgh. They couldn't get it done. They got it to happen, and they did it during a commercial. So for that alone,
No.
no disrespect to Real San Martino, shouldn't count.
I think hands down Goldust.
Hands down, Goldust. That's no disrespect to Jericho, who had an amazing year.
But he never lost it.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's Chris Jericho. The same concept with Rob Van Dam.
Exactly. I think Goldust, considering everything he's gone through, he was fired. He's been lobbying for a match against Cody for years now at Mania.
And
I met him at WrestleCon last year.
I got
He
to
was
meet him last summer.
a great guy, really funny.
Great.
And it's great to see him back. He's still in shape. I remember watching him as a kid, and he's still got it. And he's probably better now than he was 15 years ago.
It's a big thing for the wrestling fan when you've seen somebody their whole career, because that's a guy that you and I have seen since WCW.
Yeah.
WWE really gave him his first break as with the
Dusty Angle,
and DiBiase angle. But I've seen Goldust his whole career. That's like, guys that watch literally their whole career. Goldust, Triple H, Rock, Austin. Like, you don't understand. Like, people are like, Stone Cold's greatest of all time. Listen, dude, if you've never seen a stunning Steve Austin match, then you shouldn't say shit about being a Steve Austin fan.
Most people know him after his neck injury, where he wasn't even at the top, physically at the top of his game.
This is actually going to shock you, because I know how much, whatever, and you give me a lot of shit. The greatest tag match, my favorite tag team match ever, it's not the greatest tag match of all time, I'll take that back, but my favorite tag team match ever is Steve Austin, Stunning Steve, teaming with Dr. Death against Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham from Halloween Havoc 92. My favorite tag team. That is my favorite tag team match to watch over and over again. My favorite tag match of all time is actually from Survivor Series 92. You can figure that out. But
I'm pretty sure it's
exactly
Flair and
all Savage Perfect. My favorite tag match of all time. But I got to watch that recently, and Steve Austin and Dr. Death could have been a tag team immediately, considering that they'd never teamed before, and he's Terry Gordy's replacement. But yeah, I just don't see why Goldust isn't going to win that match, that award. If Bruno gets it, well, I'll leave it at that.
All right, let's see what other.
There's a lot of .com awards, and I think that alone goes.
I mean, considering we have 3 hours of Raw, we can throw those in on Raw.
And there's like, for that alone, that goes back to what we were talking about. Why isn't the Slammys its own show? Mm-hmm. There's at least 5 or so WWE.com awards. There's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11 pre-show and .com awards in total.
Yeah.
And then how many for the show? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the show.
Okay.
It's not a terrible amount for the show, but considering how many are there. Eve Torres comes back to present Diva of the Year. I have no problem with that, unlike the rest of the IWC.
Yeah. I mean,
Eve was a great diva. She worked her ass off the last 2 years she was in the company. She was great. She put Caitlyn over. I think it's going to be fantastic. Why the fuck is Eva Marie nominated? Why the fuck is she nominated?
Your guess is as good as mine, but we have AJ, the Bella Twins, the Funkadactyls, Natalia, Caitlyn, and
Eva Marie.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm actually going. I'm going to go with upset, and I'm going the Bellas.
The Bellas?
I'm going to go with the upset and say the Bellas are going to win.
I mean, they've definitely improved a lot. Definitely Brie.
I didn't say that's what I wanted. I said the Bellas are going to win.
I mean, I would like to see either AJ or Natalia take it. I think they're both great.
AJ is the one that should win because of the year she's had. She's had a fantastic year. She had the pipe bombshell promo. Natalia's been getting steam from August to where we are now.
Yeah.
So if you think about it in a calendar, that's not enough to merit her. If you look at AJ from January, considering she was ending the whole Bryan and Punk thing, and then transitioned to Ziggler, and she was in the ring with Ziggler with tears in her eyes, and then she won the women's title the next month with tears in her eyes.
Here's something I have a problem with. She's from Jersey.
Okay.
Why didn't she win the women's title at WrestleMania? I thought for months I predicted, okay, they haven't put the belt on her yet. she's definitely going to win it at Mania. She's from Jersey. It's her hometown.
Was there a women's match at this year's WrestleMania?
No, it was the match that got cut. No, they got cut. It was the Funkadactyls and
this was the
Sons
year
of
they got
Funk.
cut, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, wasn't that supposed to be part of the show? That's why. There's your answer. Because the rumor is that was part of the Divas show.
Yeah, but why not put AJ and Caitlyn for the Divas title? Even if it was
AJ's not a total diva. That's why. If AJ was a total diva, I'm sure that whole shit would have happened. Do I think she would have gotten a pop at WrestleMania? No.
No?
I don't.
I mean, just for her.
Yeah, true. She had it. Yeah, because she did have the year from the whole Daniel Bryan 18 seconds to the following year.
Yeah,
maybe
and
she would have.
She attended Mania 20 as a fan. So I mean, just a feel good moment for her personally. I mean,
for her personally,
whether
yeah,
she got a pop or not.
I don't think it would have gotten the reaction that comes with that.
Yeah. I mean, if they would have done it right, and she was at Mania 20, she's from Jersey, but she would have had to be a babyface, right?
I actually have a problem with one of these awards, believe it or not. It's the Double Cross Award.
Okay.
I actually have a problem with that. It's going to be presented by
the Shield.
By the Shield. Is that what I'm reading here?
Yes, the Shield, and it's Triple H costing Daniel Bryan the championship at SummerSlam. Shawn Michaels costing Daniel Bryan the championship at Hell in a Cell. Mark Henry's retirement speech, and Paul Heyman double-crossing Punk at Money in the Bank. My personal favorite was Mark Henry's.
Agreed.
Because that one actually, at first I didn't believe it. Then it started to catch me. Like I was like, oh my god, is he really retiring?
I bought the whole thing. He had me.
And I was like, when Cena standing there, I was like, wow, this is really happening. And then I think that was it was a huge pop once he gave the world's strongest slam to Cena.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem I have with Heyman's is that everyone saw that coming.
Oh, definitely, because of Brock already.
The way it was done.
Yeah.
Triple H turning on Bryan. The thing with that one was that it was kind of like it was like the obvious Easter egg for wrestling fans. Well, Triple H is in the ring for a little too long.
Yeah.
That was what the problem with that was. Not saying it wasn't a shock, but it was kind of like something's going to happen.
Definitely.
Because he's still in the ring. That was the giveaway for me watching here in the apartment. Shawn Michaels turning on Bryan. Can you say that he turned on Bryan? Can you really say that?
I mean, I think they just wanted to find a way out of putting the belt on him, and I mean,
Mark Henry turning on Cena. That should
win.
Let's bang.
I mean,
out.
would he really? I mean, do you think they would give it to him now that he's a babyface? And
I don't see why not. Because all of those guys are affected by him. Should they get it for heel or babyface? I mean, Mark Henry's the only babyface nominee.
Yeah.
If you don't include Shawn Michaels because he's not on the active roster. LOL Moment of the Year. The New Age Outlaws are going to present that. That's going to be cool to get them on the show. That's going to get a huge pop if you ask me. Nominees for that. Rock concert at the 20th anniversary of Raw.
I don't even remember that one.
Me neither, actually. Vicky Guerrero fired as a Raw GM. Titus O'Neil throws up on JBL, Michael Cole, and Zeb Coulter on SmackDown. And the Great Khali and Jinder Mahal try to charm Santino's Cobra. To me, it should be Titus O'Neil throwing up on JBL, Michael Cole, and Zeb Coulter.
I guess that was...
Just to give them some head of steam. What do we got for Insult of the Year? Miz is presenting that, I think. Yes.
Okay, we have Stephanie McMahon degrades The Big Show on Raw.
That's a tough one.
AJ, this is the Total Divas cast.
Okay.
Paul Heyman disowns CM Punk.
Okay.
And Zeb Coulter offends the universe.
Zeb Coulter, hands down.
Definitely.
Hands down. Zeb Coulter should win. Just straight up. Extreme Moment. Go ahead. Who's nominated for that? And I know, of course, Mr. Bang Bang's on that.
All right. The Shield triple power bomb The Undertaker. Ryback spears John Cena through an LED light board. CM Punk exacts revenge on Paul Heyman. And the Wyatts crush Kane at SummerSlam.
I'm going Shield.
Shield?
Shield against Taker for sure. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to win that, but that's what I would want to see win.
I can see them giving it to Punk.
Yeah, to get him out there.
Yeah.
This is also Moment of the Year presented by Christian. It'll be good to see him on television as well. And if I were them, I would build up
Which
Christian's
one is that one?
rivalry. That's this is also Moment of the Year by Christian. Christian presented. The nominees for that are Ziggler cashing in Money in the Bank at the Raw that you're nominated for.
Yes.
Show knocking out Triple H. Kofi saving himself from getting eliminated at the Rumble with JBL's chair.
All right.
And Daniel Bryan winning his second WWE Championship from Daniel Bryan at Night of Champions.
I mean, Daniel Bryan, the title didn't even last that long on him, so I don't really consider that an awesome moment. I would say Ziggler, even though he's fallen down the card pretty badly.
I think I think since it's a universe vote for all of these, which I think we're forgetting sometimes.
Big Show.
I think they're going to go Big Show knocking out Triple H. I think that's
because that's the biggest of the four angles.
Yeah, that's like for Beard of the Year presented by Santino. All these guys have great beards. They're all fan favorites. Zed Coulter should kind of win because he's got the Lorax look, but Daniel Bryan's getting that.
Definitely.
Daniel Bryan's getting that now. Trending right
I mean, that
now,
can also help the Wyatt feud.
That can also help the Wyatt
because
feud,
they're also nominated.
But it's a pre-show.
Pre-show?
That's a pre-show.
There's a Raw pre-show?
Yeah. They announced
3 hours aren't enough?
Yeah. For the Raw pre-show. That's a pre-show award. And then for Trending Now, presented by the Rhodes Brothers, we've got the Authorities' best for business. The Shield. Hashtag believe in the Shield. The Wyatt family. Hashtag follow the Buzzards. And the Real Americans. Put your thumb over your hashtag. We the people. I'm going for the Real Americans.
We the people.
My biased ass. Catchphrase of the year. Daniel Bryan's yes chant. Mark Henry, that's what I do. Fandango. Follow the Buzzards by Bray Wyatt. We the people. I actually can't pick one.
I wish Xavier Woods would have debuted sooner, so it's Morphin Time can win.
Yes. I'm the only one still calling him Consequences Creed. I feel so bad.
Okay, let's see. Feat of Strength of the year. Antonio Cesaro swings the Great Khali.
Winner.
Ryback shell shocks Mark Henry. The Shield triple powerbomb Big Show.
That's cool.
Mark Henry pulls 2 trucks with his bare hands. I think Antonio.
The problem with Mark Henry pulling the trucks with his bare hands was that it happened while he was gone, 1. And 2, they didn't even televise it. And 3, it was only on .com. Believe it or not, in theory, that should win.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go by television, Cesaro's going to win. Again, it's a fan vote. I think Cesaro's going to take it because the Cesaro swing
is getting over. People are waiting for that in the matches, and I know at the live crowds for the house shows, it's building a lot of steam. Tag Team of the Year. Nominees are The Shield, the Primetime Players, the Usos, Cody Rhodes and Goldust, and the Real Americans. Unfortunately, Los Matadores are not nominated.
Which surprised me that they're not nominated. I think fan vote based, I think the winners for that are going to be the Rhodes Brothers.
Yeah.
In theory, any of those teams can actually
this is probably like the first time we have 5 really good teams.
And they're all tag teams. They're not single stars put together.
Yeah.
They're tag teams. They're actual tag teams. So I think that's cool. We talked about You Still Got It. Do you want to touch on Couple of the Year?
Sure, why not? We have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
Fandango and Summer Rae, are they actually a couple? I mean, they dance together.
Yeah, off camera, I don't know anything about that.
I don't think so. Tyson Kidd and Natalya, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, John Cena and Nikki Bella, and Naomi and Jimmy Uso.
Believe it or not,
this is a tough one because
I know who's not going to win. Cena and Nikki. They're not going to win.
I mean, this is a tough one because only 2 of these couples are actually together on TV. I mean, Brie and Daniel Bryan have
3 of them are
acknowledged.
on TV.
I mean, they've acknowledged each other on TV.
Right.
But Triple H and Stephanie are a couple on screen as well as in real life. And Fandango and Summer Rae, because Tyson Kidd and Natalya, they had that mixed tag match a few weeks ago.
Correct.
Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, they acknowledge each other backstage. John Cena and Nikki Bella have never acknowledged each other on Raw, so unless you watch Total Divas, you don't know.
Neither have
Naomi and Jimmy Uso. So
I mean, I'm going to go with the 1999 vote and go Triple H and Stephanie, but I can tell you that Cena and Nikki Bella are not going to win. I do know that if the fans vote for that, I would love to see what's going to happen when they accept it together. Faction of the Year. 4 Horsemen, Evolution, DX, no, I'm sorry. NWO, For Life. The Shield, the Wyatts, the Real Americans, 3MB.
The Real Americans a faction? They're a tag team with a manager.
Well, they're nominated. I can see the argument for it, but I would consider them a tag team with a manager.
Yeah.
I see the argument, but 3MB's not going to win this shit.
I see the Shield winning.
Yeah. And then, of course, the last one, I got it. What a maneuver! Daniel Bryan's running knee strike, AJ Lee's Black Widow, a.k.a. the Infrared, Roman Reigns' spear, and Cesaro's swing. Come on. Cesaro's swing's got to get that. That's a no-brainer. A no-brainer. If I got something I want to, before we switch topics. If you were to see the Slammies as an award show, what is the one segment that you would like to see? Because I already have mine.
The one segment?
The one segment you would like to see happen. You could use it. You could either come up with a segment, or you could come up with with the idea of how an award is presented. I already have mine in my head. Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Okay. For What a Maneuver, okay, Vince McMahon comes out and presents it. A verbal disagreement happens with him and the winner, and he breaks into doing Stand Back, and Hulk Hogan returns to the WWE playing bass with the rest of the current superstars and legends. That is my dream Slammy segment, and I think that'd be the best way to bring Hogan back, believe it or not. Even if it's for one night, that's my dream Slammy segment for this year.
I don't know if I can top that one. All right, let's take a different approach. Let's look at some of the past Slammy categories and who we would give him to today.
Okay, I could do that.
So let's go in order. 1987, best performance by an animal.
Oh, well, El Torito.
El Torito.
That's
all right.
the little bull. JBL's got to get one of those.
Okay, Woman of the Year. That's Diva of the Year. Best ring apparel.
Right now, Fandango.
Fandango?
Yeah, Fandango. Actually, you know what? Believe it or not, Summer Rae. Summer Rae, I can stare at her for days. For days, I can stare at her. Oh, man. Yeah, attire, Fandango, or Punk. Because when Punk's always switching it up, he's got the Bret Hart theme gear. He came out with the cool Blackhawks attire.
The Yankees attire in Boston.
The Yankees won in Boston. So that's best attire should be a regular.
Yeah.
Should be a regular. You know what I think should never be nominated?
What?
But now is a better time to do it than when they did it in '97. Best tattoo.
Best tattoos.
Best tattoo.
That's a tough. I mean, there's a lot. There's Punk. There's Brock. There's
Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I would go with Punk. The Hulk Hogan Real American Award. Zeb Coulter.
The Real Americans, and then Hogan could come out after, and that's another good one. How about best entrance music for current?
Current?
That's a nominee for '97 with Taker winning.
I would have said Fandango 6 months ago, but just because his was the most catchy.
I'm going to go with the Shield.
Shield? Yeah, Shield's
Shield or the Wyatts.
I like, Wyatts. I'll go with the Wyatts. The Jesse the Body Award, which was won by the Birthday Boy.
My man. For now, the Jesse the Body Award for now?
Yes.
Jesus.
There's Ryback.
I can't give it to Ryback.
Big E.
That's a lot right there.
Shield. I mean, not Reigns. Brock.
Brock. I would give it to either Brock or Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Ziggler a few months ago. You know who else is a nominee? Cody Rhodes.
Cody?
If you were to go like that. Because Cody Rhodes is in a lot better shape than he gets credit
Surprisingly, this isn't nominated this year. Manager of the Year. We actually have a few managers.
Then you have to have managers.
Or more than Paul Heyman and Zeb Coulter.
Well, you have Heyman, Coulter, and Ricardo has only works like 6 months at a time. Zeb Coulter has been fantastic. Paul Heyman, to me, is starting to surpass Bobby Heenan as greatest manager of all time. And that's a tough one for me because I have if you grew up watching wrestling, you couldn't top Bobby Heenan.
Definitely.
The second place was, well, for me at least, is J.J. Dillon. But I think the only reason JJ didn't get over was because he never got national as a manager. Mm-hmm. But, Heyman would be manager of the year. I don't know why WWE doesn't do best finisher anymore. And I remember watching this as a kid that Brian Pillman gave this finisher away. And I remember being upset because Brian Pillman never did Air Pillman in WWE.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the cooler moves that he used to do back in WCW, and Shawn Michaels won that back in '97.
And also '96, Bret Hart won it, and it was known as the "Put a Fork in Him, He's Done" award. Also, here's an interesting award: Best Buns.
Well, let me tell you something. That JBL's got a cute little ass. No, I'm kidding. All right, Mike.
Which was won by Sunny in 1996.
I would give that now to Natalia.
Natalia?
Yeah, for Natalia. Yeah, Natalia. Because even Regis.
Or AJ.
Or AJ.
Let's see
what about best music video? Wouldn't that be best Titantron now? Which, if you look at it, it is. Doc Hendricks presented that.
You're looking at 96 or 97?
I don't know why the hell they haven't put Michael Hayes to do Bachelor USA on WWE television. Best entrance video? Shield's got a great one. Wyatt's got a great one. I'm really kissing their ass today. But current, I would give it to. I would only give it to the Shields because the Shields looks better on the whole arena.
Yeah.
When they come out, Wyatt's you don't see for obvious reason. How about this one?
But I would give this best slam and jam and entrance.
Oh yeah.
That would go to the Wyatts.
Yes, that would have to go to Wyatt's more than Fandango, only because Fandango has what I call punk syndrome. It depends on the city.
Yeah.
And then how about Master of Mat Mechanics, which was presented by Mr. Perfect? I remember that award. I would have to give it to
Brian?
To Brian, yeah. You know what award I actually think they should bring back? The Lifetime Achievement Award.
I was actually thinking of that one. I was going to ask you who you think should be.
Now, I would actually give it to Jerry Lawler.
I was actually going to say Jim Ross.
If he was still under contract, there's no reason. But now it should go to Jerry Lawler. And you know who else should actually get it, believe it or not? Kyoto or Robinson. And there's tons of guys in the back that have been with the company for years that should get it. You know, another guy who doesn't get enough credit, Laurinaitis. You know, Laurinaitis should easily get a Slammy as far as I'm concerned.
Freedom of Speech Award.
I just passed that one by Backlund.
I would say
Zeb?
tie between Punk and Heyman.
Zeb would present it, and I would give it to Heyman because Heyman is just How about the Bobby the Brain Heenan Scholarship Award? Who would get that?
Current heel right now. Who do you think would get it?
Bobby the Brain Heenan Scholarship Award? He's a really good heel right now, but like that kind of heel.
Damien
Sandow.
That's the only one I can think of.
Damien Sandow would be the one. Best head. Best head.
I guess we would have to ask the spouses on Total Divas.
That's not even. I can't. I guess it would have to go to Nikki for wearing the nurse outfit, right?
Nikki for wearing it.
Was that Nikki or Brie? Which one is Cena with? Nikki?
Nikki.
She wore the nurse outfit I saw 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. After that Natalia's
I
Bachelorette.
caught up just for the show. I caught up
actually
just for the
haven't.
podcast.
I haven't caught up for this season.
I caught up just for the podcast.
Well, I know there was a Bachelorette party where
that's the only one I've missed.
Brie went back to the room and
I heard that Sandow was in character the whole time, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
For the Bachelorette party.
But Brie went back to the room with Daniel Bryan and was in Brie mode, so I don't know. She might take that award. After handcuffing him.
Maybe. Ooh, you know who would but all time I gotta give it to you, the Sonny or Missy Hyatt. How about you ever heard the Eugene joke for one of the ring roasts about Missy Hyatt? Eugene goes, Missy Hyatt's blown so many wrestlers that she spits soulless.
Yeah, actually, that was the Cornette. Cornette ring roast.
It was the Cornette roast.
Which he said, well, makes sense that a retard would be in Eric Bischoff's family.
And then how about when Coulter was still Dutch Mantel? He goes, "There's two things that Jim Cornette can't do: heel
and face."
When we come back on the For Life podcast, we are going to talk about. It's been sweeping the week. It was the breakout news midweek. The WWE Network. Is it best for business? Is it time? When we come back, WWE Network right here for Life.
Superstars with their big muscles and their fancy cars. And here tonight we're gonna hand out Slammies. It beats the Grammys. We're live on USA. in the ring, Shawn is. With his earrings and hair and his thong underwear, Shawn is. Such a stud, such a hunk. I said hunk, not hunk. Shawn is. He's totally from Cali, a condo in the valley. He should be on Sally. He's gold dust, totally. He once thrown into Forum and said the boys adore him. He's gold dust, totally. He walks among the living, though he really is quite dead. And here's 2 words his manager, pallbearers, never said. A fool! When darkness falls and lightning flashes, oh, it's a total scare. Better bring a fresh change of underwear. It's a nightmare when the purple hand of death reaches for your hair. The warrior is back. Tell me, will you blow your stack? Hey, warrior! Hey, warrior! I'm like your biggest fan, but how much did it cost McMahon? Hey, warrior!
Wait a minute.
Hey, warrior!
Yeah.
Oh, Sonny, my dear.
Uh-oh.
Skip
Wow.
and Zip are here.
Wow.
We
Holy
can
Toledo.
plainly see those are double D.
It is
Sonny
late night.
and her beast. Big Daddy don't need no friendship.
Uh-oh.
He don't need no one at all. And if you want Diesel to respect you, well, buy a black glove at the mall. Yokozuna, Yokozuna. He's the Federation's big kahuna. Never missed a dinner. He's the Nathan's hot dog eating winner. Here's the story of a man named Bret Hart. He's the only man enough to wear pink. He's been in something like 5 million matches. I got that from the fake. Okay. Ahmed Johnson, Jake the Snake, Horowitz, you take the cake. Hunter Hearst, Helmsley, and Savio, you shake and bake. Backlund crawling on his knees. Duke is popping out the sleeves. Jerry Lawler, he just came down with mad cow disease. What?
Yeah, mad cow.
Well, this is a tale about Tim Cornette, the polyester king. With Owen Bader and the dog, it's a not so nice a thing. They screamed, they yelled in Los Angeles. I heard them from a bar. Cause Cornette would only rent a mid-size rent-a-car. We love the superstars. WWF superstars. So come on, let's start the show and fire up the burner. Screw you, Ted Turner. It's time to start the show. The Slammy Show.
Hey guys, this is Cheyenne for the For Life podcast. When you listen to your podcast, you listen to it for life. We support indie wrestling. The stars of tomorrow are performing for you today on the independent professional wrestling circuit. So go to your local gymnasium, your local recreational center, your barn, your parking garage, anywhere. Support independent professional wrestling. The stars of today are performing for you right now. Support independent wrestling. That should be it.
All right, folks, welcome back to For Life podcast. Another topic we wanted to discuss was something that's been mentioned for the last 2.5 years now, which is the WWE Network, which they finally announced would be, if you can pull up the article, Cheyenne?
Yep, that's right. The WWE Network has been a big topic for the last 2.5 years, including various video promos to hype up the network, and at one time expected launch date near, I'm going to say WrestleMania.
I was actually
27 or 28.
I was interning for WWE Magazine during my senior year, and I remember when the station, they actually played the commercial around the time I began, and the HR guy actually didn't know about it till he saw the commercial on Raw. A lot of people in the company didn't know about it, and I was there for a .com meeting where they announced the launch of the new website, which launched a while back, and they announced that the network was supposed to launch around WrestleMania weekend 28, either the day after, the day before Mania.
Right.
But it never happened. I guess they haven't been able to get cable provider.
Well, this is going to shed some light on it, and it's going to explain a lot of things to me. And I think this is actually a benefit at the end of the day. The story broke out initially on WrestleZone.com and Sure Shot Reality, their web show. This is the exact article. After speaking with sources in WWE, Sure Shot Reality on WZ can confirm new details regarding the WWE Network. We can confirm PWInsider.com's report of February 24th being the expected launch date of the WWE Network. WZ can now exclusively report the WWE's network will contain all of the Raws, SmackDowns, and WWE pay-per-views ever produced, that's a big word, off the bat on the first day of launch in its extensive library. However, there are some interesting new details regarding the WWE Network and that it won't be available via cable providers. For this, plus to view it, how it relates to pay-per-views, the price, and more, check out the CSR segment radio. To follow that up, the prices were listed between $9.99 and $12.99, and it was going to be similar to Netflix. And you were going to get all of the WWE pay-per-views. Something that was touched in the Chair Shot Reality video was they're going to want people to sign up for 6 months off the bat. That was something they're going to tell people for. It's going to be available on all your streaming devices, your PlayStation 3 and 4,
Nice.
Xbox 360, Xbox One, your iPod, iPads, iPhones, and all your mobile devices. I'm sure they're going to have something for Android as well for the Google Play Store. But how the network works apparently is that there will be a constant stream on launch day and on a regular basis.
Yeah.
As mentioned, all SmackDowns, Raws, and pay-per-views will be available. Personally, I think they're going to allow all of the Raws, SmackDowns, and pay-per-views for the year. Do I think they're going to release every Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-view in their library on the launch day? Hell no. Because video piracy being what it is,
Yeah.
I don't think WWE is going to make that mistake.
And also, what's to keep people from, let's say me and you wanted to sign up and we
Right.
just split, hey, we're going to split the price and we both have the password for our WWE network. Just kind of like a lot of people, I do that
A
with,
lot of people do that with Netflix.
I do that with Netflix and Hulu and
At Netflix, you can have up to 3 users on your account. I don't think WWE is going to allow that, though, because they do not allow that for when you do the pay-per-views on the mobile devices.
yeah,
When you use the email account,
I've never done that.
you can only have, I think, one other person.
Okay.
So that puts you at 2 for when you do it on the mobile devices. So I don't think WWE is going to do that for this. If they do, it'll be 2 people. Because remember, one of the things that's benefit, a wrestling channel, like a 2, 3, 4, 5 channel on cable, that's not going to work. The
Yeah.
audience is not there. Plus, it fits the generation that we're in television-wise. Plus, also, it increases pay-per-view buys. If you're trying to tell investors, this is all said in the Chair Shot Reality Show, just give them credit. If you tell people that all these buys are increasing thanks to the app and
Yeah.
thanks to WWE Network, well, that's a huge thing for investors. You know, pay-per-views right now are $40 a pop. 12 months a year. That's a down.
Yeah.
That's a down payment on
Honestly,
a house.
like how many are we
Yeah,
watching?
that's a down payment on a Ford Focus. You know, and how many of those are we watching? Plus, considering
Like I went
the endings.
to Mania, and that was because I purchased the tickets months before.
Right.
So other than that, I probably would have just purchased Mania or saw it at a friend. Like I've seen it here plenty of
yeah,
times,
yeah.
or my other friend's house. Just ordered it, split the price, ordered some food. Hey, let's watch Mania. But
And then, you know, for $10
Like-
a month,
or now that this bar on 50th Street offers pay-per-views, I went there, like I mentioned, for Battleground. Other than that, like I'm not going to sit at home and watch a pay-per-view or pay $50 to watch a pay-per-view.
especially considering the endings that we've been getting lately.
Exactly.
But think about this concept. It's a Netflix type deal, and they're also going to have things, you know, it's been out there, January 31st, WWE Classics On Demand is going to be ending. It's the only reason I freaking switched to Verizon, so thanks for that.
Yeah, because I don't get it with Time Warner. Which,
Yeah, the network, the Classic On Demand subscription is going to be ending January 31st. The expected launch date for the network is February 24th, and just like I said on Chair Shot Reality, there's no turning back at this point. I think this is nothing but beneficial, and think about it. I'm going to get the network for, I think, the higher price point of $12.99 a month,
yeah,
and I'm getting all the pay-per-views. Why am I going to pay the $40 on the side?
Exactly.
I'm getting all the pay-per-views, I'm getting a live stream, And from what I understand, all the things that they offer on Classics
are going to be
also be
so like the
on,
roundtable.
Yeah, like the roundtable discussions and stuff like that. It'll be sectionalized, so you can go to the live stream if they allow all the Raw and SmackDowns in their library. That'll be a section.
Also, Legends House, which was filmed.
Legends House was
a few
filmed
years
2
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper said on Twitter that they got picked up. Is that for a network? Is that for the WWE network? I don't know.
I mean, with a show like that, you do have to put it out sooner than later.
And I know they tried to pitch it to Sci-Fi, and Sci-Fi didn't want it.
Yeah, especially like you don't. God forbid, somebody on one of the cast members doesn't make it by the time we premiere the show. It could happen.
That is a possibility. I don't know why. If they do another Legends House, they got to do it with like. They should just do it at DDP's place. Everybody else is staying there. Just do DDP, Roberts, and Hall for a weekend, and let like Flair stay there because Roberts hates Flair. Throw Warrior's ass in there. Get Waltman and get like
Nash.
Just get the Click, Flair, Roberts, Warrior, and they're all going to kick Warrior's ass.
Hogan.
Anyway. And Hogan. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
He's not doing anything else right now.
He needs a job, like he said. Like he said. But WWE Network, I think this is the best way to do it.
Definitely.
I think a Netflix type deal is the best way to do it.
Because everybody else is like, who's going to sit at home and watch it? Like, at least if I'm on the go or I'm at work during my break, I watch something. Like,
listen, when I switch to iPhone, my battery's going to be dead all the time. I'm going to be watching the damn stream all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to put it on all the mobile devices, on all the tablets, plus televisions and gaming devices now.
Yeah.
I watched SummerSlam on my PlayStation 3. That was one of the best experiences I ever had. For a debut, there was very little lag.
Yeah.
So I know that's something that they're fixing more and more.
Especially in my situation, I live with a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
So I don't really get the TV as often. I'm usually watching it on my slow Time Warner app. I'm trying to watch Raw. It's like go to sleep so I can turn it on to the TV.
Exactly. And it just fits the generation that we're in. And something that Chair Shots mentioned.
Maybe 10, 15 years ago, it would have worked as a channel during the Attitude.
I think the only time that it would have worked was the Attitude Era. It wouldn't even have worked in the 80s. Plus, networks like that would have been taboo anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, the Attitude Era, anywhere from 99 to 02, I think a WWE Network.
I feel like a lot of people are going towards the digital route. Like, even I'm working at On Demand in a few weeks. I think in about a week, Howard Stern is leaving On Demand, and he's going to be doing his own online streaming and leaving On Demand.
But he'll still be with Sirius.
I believe so. I know as far as On Demand, he's not going to be with On Demand anymore.
Okay.
Which is usually the highlight of my job is getting to watch Howard Stern, which I won't be able to anymore, unfortunately. But
that sucks. Because he puts on a decent show.
Oh,
definitely. A radio show as well. Visually, he's great. I mean, I remember in the 90s, you used to want to kill to be in the studio with him, and then when he launched the shows on E! I remember watching the shows on E! And it was a pretty cool thing. But I think this is the best route for WWE. There's nothing but potential coming out of this.
I mean, just for old school fans like us to have access to all this old footage. Like I have all the old pay-per-views downloaded, but it's like sometimes I don't want to sit on my computer to watch it or upload.
Right.
Or even then, if they're taking up space, I can just watch it on the app.
And then even for the IWC, that's a big deal too. I just feel like this is literally the best way to go.
Yeah.
Except doing this, you can only go forward. You cannot go back. There cannot be any problems on launch day.
Yeah.
All the shit's got to be in order. WWE Network, I'm excited. February 24th. I'm hoping it goes through. Do I think it's better than having it correspond with WrestleMania? Yes, because at the end of the day, the big picture is WrestleMania. Access is part of the thing. That's an activity. Hall of Fame. I think it's a great idea not doing it with WrestleMania week, believe it or not, because it gets some traction.
Yeah.
And you're getting WrestleMania the first year with it. You're getting all the pay-per-views. WrestleMania's going to be part of it. I think it's a great
So are they going to include WrestleMania with the network?
WrestleMania, for right now, WrestleMania 30 will be included with the network. Going forward, WrestleMania will be a separate purchase for what everyone is.
I mean, that's a good.
Yeah, and then remember.
So are you paying the 6 months up front?
They're going to want people apparently to pay for 6 months off the bat.
Okay,
but you have the option of doing like on Netflix, you get charged every month.
I mean, they'll probably charge a little less if you do the paying in full.
There'll probably be a $10 deduction.
Yeah,
I know when I get it, hopefully at the time, I'm paying for the 6 months.
Yeah,
why not?
Right.
If you're a fan, there's no reason why you shouldn't get it, even if you're doing the $10 a month.
Yeah, I mean, if I had access to WWE On Demand, I would have done it years ago. Even though they don't even have near as much content as the network would have.
Right, but here's another thing. again, this bumps the pay-per-view buys. What if it's like, oh, well, I don't want to order the pay-per-view. I'm going to put my app account on and get charged $10.
Yeah.
Right there. Says it all for you.
Pretty much the 6 months is a little more than what you'd pay for one pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Or the Mania price. Mania is about
for 6 months you paid for WrestleMania and you're getting everything else for free. That's literally the best way to look at it because WrestleMania is $65. Wow. So many cable bills. So many times my cable's been cut thanks to my fandom. I have a very good mother.
And they've also announced the WrestleMania 31 location.
Oh, well, the formal announcement isn't out there, but Santa Clara, California, and
Then San Francisco?
and then San Francisco would be the Raw location as well. That's a great Bay Area for California. It's unfortunate, like, sometimes I feel like WWE doesn't, incorporate the legends like they did in that 02 to 06 or 07 era. Pat Patterson would have been a great deal because he's back in the day in the territory days, he's the king of California. Him, The Rock's grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, Ray Stevens, Bockwinkel, Patera, a lot of guys were California kings, and Pat Patterson was part of it. I think it's great. I don't remember the last Mania in California.
21?
The
LA?
Los Angeles one, yeah. And before that, they were doing it in Anaheim. Those two times,
12 and 16.
12 and 16. I think it's great. I think California's a nice change of fresh air.
I might use it as an excuse to go visit my half brother out there.
That'll be cool. And then the next one's in New Orleans.
What's your opinion, being from New York, having WrestleMania 1, 10, and 20 in the Garden? Do you think WWE should have, at least, even if it wasn't in the Garden because it's not as big, do you think WWE should have made it in the Garden, in MetLife Stadium this year? And I know the reason was they wanted to have WrestleMania in MetLife before the Super Bowl, which was going to be in February.
That was a big factor, but I'm going to tell you something that I actually made sense to me. I'm not upset about WWE not getting 30 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people don't know is that the Garden was still being renovated.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that a lot of fans don't know. The Garden was still being renovated. If it wasn't a Knicks game, they weren't doing anything there. If you look back at that year, the Knicks weren't even playing that many home games.
Yeah.
And what people don't know is that in 10 years, the Madison Square Garden on 34th Street is not going to be there anymore. They're getting a new location. It's like a $100 billion renovation, and they have to get that back in 10 years. So, of course, as a fan, that's where it should have been.
Yeah.
It upsets the hell out of me, but I knew it's because the building wasn't ready. What a lot of people don't know is that we were supposed to get SummerSlam last year, but the Garden wasn't ready. So they put it back in LA. LA was a boring crowd this past year, my opinion, and now we may get SummerSlam this year. That's something that a lot of people don't know also. But
yeah, I heard that.
We were supposed to get about 3 pay-per-views in the last 2 to 3 years, and we didn't because the Garden was being renovated.
We had Survivor Series 2011, which I attended.
Which we got. We honestly got that by luck.
Yeah.
We got that by luck.
Yeah, I was surprised because it had been, I think, since Rumble 2008.
Yeah.
That was the last pay-per-view before that.
If what a lot of people don't know is, back in the from the 60s all the way until 96, WWE ran shows in the Garden every month.
Every month. Yeah, I remember.
Back in the territory days until the Hogan era, every week there was a Garden show. The Garden was a place to be at every month.
I remember in the 90s, in 96, 97, I was going every 2 months. I was going to the Garden.
And we're still doing it every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, so it's a shame. I mean, right now we're going to be attending the show December 26th at the Garden.
We're going to be attending the holiday show, and that's the only show that they run that they've been running other than Survivor Series in the last couple of years. What was the last Garden Raw? The one with Vince and Piper.
Yeah.
That was the last one. That was, 2010?
Yeah, just
2009, 2010. Taker's last Garden appearance.
They usually do a house show around, prior to this year, they would do it around Mania.
Around Mania, they would do
since it was in
show,
the area this year.
The Revenge Tour, and they would also do the Summer Show sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we only get the holiday show now. So that's one of the main factors to it. Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a beautiful facility. Do I think they're going to break the attendance record? It's possible, because that's the arena that a lot of people have been wanting them to go to. aside from the big one in Dallas also.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great location. I think this is going to be a great Mania.
Hopefully.
There's tons of different factors involved. You have all of the, I guess the word, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but the part-timers. You know, there's Rock, there's Triple H, there's Brock.
Then there's
there's Taker. Who knows what's going to happen with those four?
And there's been a lot of talk about the old timers,
Exactly.
I think there's been way too much focus on, are we going to get Hogan? Are we going to get Sting? Are we going to get Goldberg?
We need to get over Sting.
Sting.
Number one.
Sting we should get.
That's the one. No, we should get over it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I don't think we're going to get Goldberg.
it's not worth. I mean, everybody wants Goldberg and Ryback. I mean, I don't.
Why?
Because they look alike. He's bald, goatee beard.
Even though that match is going to suck, Ryback's still going to get his ass kicked.
And it's not going to do anything for him.
Considering the year he's had.
Yeah,
you know,
and maybe if it was last year, it could have worked.
Yeah.
With the year he had last year, but
yeah, but then Henry wouldn't have gotten a Mania win, which he was well deserved. So
also, who else? Everybody wants Hogan. I mean, I would like to see Hogan at
should be there.
Mania. I don't want to see him fight Cena. I don't want to see him fight at all.
No,
I know there's talk of having a tag team match.
I know I want to see him wrestle. Do I want to see him wrestle Cena? No.
I mean, what kind of match can he put on? He can't even do the leg drop.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't want him to wrestle. But, I mean, according to him, Hogan's quote, right time, right venue, right price, brother.
Yeah.
He said it to After. I know a lot of internet fans have been saying, like, if the Real Americans come out and then they do...
Kind of like what they did with Hassan.
If they were to do that angle and then Hogan comes out and just wrestles one of them, or a tag match where they set it up some way like that.
Or not even just like what he did with Hassan, just a little beat down, take him out, celebrate.
I don't want. I would want Hogan to get a win in WrestleMania 30. Hogan is a guy that needs to retire with one last match. It's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He needs to go out with a match.
I know. I definitely agree. I just don't know if he's in the shape to.
He says he is. He's in phenomenal shape.
I mean,
physically.
I mean, on the outside, yeah, he looks great. I met him. I met him a few weeks ago. He looks spectacular. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if his body can hold. Like, he was limping around a bit. He looked tired. He was taking pictures and signing autographs all day, but he looked. I would like to see him perform at Mania.
He said he could do one match, and I think if he put his mind to it, he totally
Oh,
can.
definitely.
The right thing to do is to have him wrestle one last match. Will it be a WrestleMania 30? Who knows? Will it happen? Who knows? Should it? My opinion is yes. There's tons of scenarios you could do with him. Yeah. I know genuinely what he said a few weeks ago when he did the interview with Bill Apter. If he doesn't go, I can bet you he'll sit at ringside, and I can bet you somewhere, somehow, he'll get over that barricade, even if he's just got a ringside seat.
Definitely.
Even if he's just sitting there with the tights on. Just have to be sitting there with the tights on at ringside. My opinion. But, there's tons of different factors. I think it's too late to get Sting, my opinion.
Yeah.
It's too late to get
They should have capitalized on it.
When they were originally going to do it for the first
27. I know there was a lot of hype. And Sting even said that was the closest he ever was to signing.
Yes.
And at the time, I remember wishing and praying it was going to be Sting. And it didn't happen. I feel like now, it was 3 years later.
Do you think Sting and Taker would be a good match?
I think those are two cool gimmicks. I don't know. Like, as far as the match, I think they're both in pretty decent shape for their age. And
I don't know.
I mean, Undertaker, he's been working with guys like Punk and Hunter and Shawn.
Shield.
Yeah, so I don't know. I
mean,
I don't know if Sting can carry him through a match like the other guys have.
I don't know if Taker can carry Sting. There's a couple interviews that are factors to me that have kind of changed my outlook on Sting. Sting's an icon. I love him. 90s fan, grew up with him. How can you not like Sting? Scott Hudson did an interview saying, Sting was not really a great worker.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fantastic gimmick, but he's not one of the best workers. And when you think about it, it's true. If he didn't, where would Sting and Luger be without their Flair matches? The kickoff matches, especially Sting.
Definitely.
Their first clash made Sting a superstar. The head up against WrestleMania 4. That was something that kind of made my eyes open up. And then Don Tony and Kevin Castle revealed that he had a conversation with someone that they know that works out with Sting on the regular. And Sting apparently said, again, this may or may not be true, but this is what Sting apparently said. that he's not sure if he can handle a WWE style match.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of the guys are younger than me, and I don't know if I can perform at that rate. I don't know if I can handle that schedule, and I don't know what I can deliver. All of those factors are in fact true. That sounds like a pretty realistic answer from him. Do I think Sting and Taker would be a good match? I can't sit here and tell you yes, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you no either. But I think we need to get over Sting. I don't think Goldberg's going to happen at all. So fans,
I mean, do you think WWE needs to focus on the younger talent? Like, I mean, I feel like
absolutely.
we have Brock. I don't think Rock's going to do it.
I don't think Rock's going to be there at all.
So it'll probably be Brock and Taker.
I think Fast. What the hell are they up to now? 9,
7?
12? Fast 7. Plus with Paul Walker's death, that comes out in March of 14.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big promotional thing for him. And when he did the first one, he was promoting 3 movies.
Yeah.
He's going to be promoting 4 movies when WrestleMania 30 comes around.
I mean, he served his purpose, and I think he can afford to take a break for now. Like, he came back, he gave the fans what they wanted after his absence, and I think you can probably get more out of Brock.
Oh, well, absolutely. I don't see Brock going anywhere anytime soon, believe it or not. I think Brock's got at least 2 more Manias after this left in him.
Yeah.
I know I want to see Brock as a face for at least one of them going in, believe it or not, even though that requires more appearances.
I mean, I feel like they should build some of the current guys to get up to that level to face Brock, because as of now, we've only had Cena, Hunter, and
I would
Punk.
love to see Bryan against Brock.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be epic as hell. The part-timers I'd like to see, I don't think Rock's going to be part of it, but I think Brock will be there, Taker's the given, and I guess that'd be it for part-timers. WWE will always push, their current roster, even if it's the same 8 guys that we see every week.
Yeah.
In terms of the legends, Hogan's got to be there. If they can incorporate Warrior and Savage, that would be fantastic. And considering the years that they've had, if they can incorporate DDP, Roberts, and Hall, that would also be cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I know Roberts has been lobbying for a Rumble appearance. I mean, why not? Put him in there, even if it's for like...
I don't see why not.
If Nash was able to do it...
And I don't see why not. It's going to suck that Roberts will have the long hair.
Yeah, I don't know why he cut it.
I
Yeah.
can understand that. It's a new part of his life. But I guess, it's the same thing with WrestleMania. You can't... This is December. In 3 more weeks, I think we'll have a little better picture.
Oh, definitely.
Of where things are going. If you were to book one WrestleMania match right here, right now that you wanted, what would it be?
Punk and Bryan.
To close?
Why not?
Yeah, I think I would go. Brock Bryan.
Brock Bryan.
Brock Bryan. The Beast versus the Goat. And that then they'll sell the shit out of it. Who would you book for Taker right here, right now?
Brock.
Really?
Brock or Cena. As far as I don't see anybody else.
You know what the problem with that is? Taker would have to win and be champion, and that requires Taker.
Well, then take the belt off of Cena and make Punk and Bryan the title match.
Will they do that?
I know they won't. I'm just in my fantasy world.
Also true. Well, I don't know. That's just a whole. There's a lot of factors, and there's so much uncertainty with a lot of different things. Punk's banged up.
Definitely. And like Cena's, I feel like with Mania, like up until 2 weeks, 3 weeks before Mania, we didn't even have half the card, and I felt like everything was just kind of thrown together. I mean, I had a few predictions.
They had a decent go home show.
Yeah, I had a few predictions. I had a few predictions of what I wanted on the show, and prior to Fandango, I thought that Cesaro and Jericho would have been a great Mania match. I know they ended up fighting on the go home show, and
right.
I mean, at the time,
one factor that is going to be tremendous going into WrestleMania 30 as far as we're concerned, unification match, WWE tables, ladders, and chairs, pay-per-view, John Cena, WWE World Champion, Randy Orton, WWE Champion. Who is the face of the WWE? Both titles hanging above a ladder, 15 feet high, WWE TLC. Undisputed champion. Key factor to WrestleMania. Should the match have been booked for this pay-per-view? Should it be booked at WrestleMania? Should Cena win? Should Orton win? Will the fans win? When we come back, For Life Podcast, WWE TLC discussions are on the table.
When I was just a boy, everybody told me what I should do and who I should be. I got so tired of free advice, I finally had to say, stand back, stand back. They never understood the kind of man I am. I do my own thinking, got a lot of big plans. Stand back. Stand back. For all of you who want to bring me down, I have you. Stand in my way, I'll promise you'll lose. Stand back. Just an ordinary guy. I'll always push harder, reaching for the sky. Stand back. That's a fact. I'm a man running wild, headed for the top. Never slowing down, never gonna stop. Along the way you're gonna see a lot of men drop. Baby, watch 'em drop. Baby, 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 watch 'em drop. Stand back. Stand back.
Hey, For Lifers, I'm Bosch, the biggest social media whore there is out there. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/4lifepodcast. That's IV, Roman numeral 4, not the number 4. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at 4lifepodcast, same spelling, as well as Instagram. If you want to see the pictures that I post up, they're at 4lifepodcast. So once again, that's IVLIFEPODCAST. That's 4Life.
WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, the December pay-per-view. The topic on the wrestling world's mind, unification. The World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena, the WWE Champion and face of the WWE at this time, Randy Orton, are going to be unifying their titles. One company, one champion. Now, this angle has been rumored for several months amongst the internet and dirt sheets and insider sites as being the match that would happen at a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Be it, obviously, between WrestleMania 30 or later. But it's been rumored to happen for some time. Survivor Series was the kickoff to the angle that we are now getting for December. Some say it shouldn't have happened until WrestleMania. That is a logical choice. Many wrestling professionals, including Jim Ross, agree with that sentiment.
I think the issue with having it at Mania would be what would happen with the Royal Rumble winner.
I think you're the first person to say that.
Because then that takes away from the Rumble, because the point of the Rumble is to get a title shot at Mania. If you got two guys fighting for the belt, what would happen to the Rumble winner?
Well, then that has to go with the triple threat type deal. Maybe the Rumble winner wants both champions.
Also, I mean, maybe they didn't. I mean, maybe they.
If you went that route, then the Rumble winner.
Or they could have done it at the Rumble. Have that be the title match at the Rumble.
Okay.
Just So it kind of builds up. Okay, this is the winner, and this is the Royal Rumble winner. These two are going to fight, and they can build it up. Or I don't know. Maybe they. I don't know why it's at a TLC pay-per-view. I mean, then there's also Elimination Chamber. Then what's going to happen with, even now, what's going to happen with Elimination Chamber? That's usually the pay-per-view to set up the second challenger for the title.
In theory, there would only be one chamber, and obviously,
unless it's for the title.
That's I was just going to say, it would have to be for the title. Now, here's another factor.
I feel like the Elimination Chamber is also kind of in the way. Like, it takes away from the Rumble. Like,
I don't think it takes away from the Rumble. I just think that's too big of an. I think that should be a SummerSlam event, like it was the second time. How do you feel about the world? The world title to me is the obvious choice that would no longer be around.
Yeah, because they went out of their way to create this new title, and the world title is pretty much connected with old WCW.
Correct. And
for the last couple of years, that belt hasn't really meant much. I think since Edge was champion, it hasn't meant much, or since Swagger won it.
No, since Edge left.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does WWE need one champion?
I think at this point in time, yeah. I feel like there's so many belts that it doesn't mean as much. Like the world title, it's kind of seen like the Intercontinental title. It's like the secondary.
But that's a booking thing.
Yeah.
That's a booking thing. That's a perception deal. And
I mean, back in the day, that was what the Intercontinental title was a stepping stone. And it's not even used as a stepping stone. Like Ziggler has won it, and Alberto. And
when you think about all the WWE champions, they all won the world title first recently, with the exception of Sheamus. Like, well, Del Rio and Sheamus are the two exceptions, because they were both WWE champions first. But Bryan, Ziggler are the major ones. Bryan, Ziggler, and Orton were world champions recently before acquiring the WWE title. That
is true. But even at the time that Daniel Bryan won it, did you see him as a serious like top champion like he's being seen now? I didn't. It felt more like he was winning a secondary title. As much as I love Bryan, and I was happy to see him win the belt, I feel like that belt for the last couple of years hasn't been seen.
It also depends on the person. I never see Daniel Bryan anything secondary.
I neither have I. I mean, that was the way he was being booked at the time.
Also true, but that's also like, who is he feuding with?
I feel like at the time when, also we don't have the two separate brands like we did 10 years ago.
Right.
When we had the two,
is a big deal.
When we had the two brands, it was like, okay, you've got JBL on one side, you've got Triple H on one side, or you had Brock on one side.
But I'm going to tell you what the biggest problem with that is. Both rosters are always on Raw. When do you ever see both rosters on SmackDown?
I don't recall the last time I watched SmackDown. If I'm home and I'm getting ready to go out on a Friday and it's 8 o'clock, okay, I'll just have it playing while I'm getting ready. Or other than that, like I
usually watch SmackDown on Sundays because I'm usually working.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all perception.
Yeah.
That's all a booking thing. I know that when that era of 02 to 08 or even 09, that identity, like Philly did it in a shoot interview recently, like, we bled blue, they bled red.
Yeah.
And the champions were very, very identifiable.
Like even that Survivor Series where it was Raw versus SmackDown, like,
yeah,
they marketed the video game after that. Like,
yeah.
It was Raw versus, it was two separate shows.
Event.
Like,
and I think that was I think the bragging rights event, the fact that the buys weren't that great, was another reason why they went this route, and I think that's so unfair.
Yeah.
That's so unfair.
I mean, at the time, we wanted that competition since we no longer had the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
I just know that time period from, like you mentioned, 02 to like the mid, it was great. Like I know there was that one point where SmackDown was on fire, where they had Lesnar, Angle, Benoit, Guerrero, Edge, Mysterio, all these guys were on top of their game, and it was great wrestling wise. It was the better show.
Do you remember how cool it used to be when people were jumping ship?
Yeah. Oh yeah, when they were, it was kind of like that. Like I mentioned, that same excitement, like, oh my God, is this guy going to show up on Nitro or on Raw? It was like, oh wow, what's this guy doing on Raw? He's from SmackDown.
Yeah.
Or when an interpromotional match would be a big deal, when two guys would cross paths backstage, it's like, oh shit, look at it's Lesnar and Goldberg.
Yeah. Like, again, they're talking about when we were supposed to get Triple H and JBL.
Yeah.
We thought we should have gotten it. They only teased it once, but the crowd was going nuts about it.
Yeah, or it was like when Stephanie was trying to get Brock Lesnar to come over to SmackDown. In the
Steiner, that was a big deal too.
Yeah, so it was like you never knew what show, and it was once somebody switched over, it's like, oh, I can finally get this match. Or when they would cross paths at the Rumble and it would lead to like Angle and Michaels at Mania, or you got those matches and it was exciting. Now it's like everybody's on Raw and
on the same show, and then like that's one of the cool things about having the separate shows and the separate rosters. That gives new guys to break out.
Yeah.
You know, now we're back in that era where it's that same lineup every week, and I just feel like now is it too late to rebrand both shows? Is the draft too passe?
I think so.
I think that's if it was me, WrestleMania 30, that'd be the first thing I did. Mm-hmm. Even if the champion was going to both shows, I would still go that route. I mean, what sucks now is that the champion, in theory, would have to be on both shows and all house shows. How do you go to a house show and not have a champion?
I mean, pretty much like right now there are 2 house shows going on. Like we're going to be attending the one in the Garden. There's going to be a show in Chicago, and pretty much the half of the roster that I like is going to be in Chicago.
But no champion.
No champion, because the show
That's a big deal.
The show is after TL. Even right now, even if there's a screwy finish and neither guy wins the unified belt, both champions are booked for the Garden, Orton and Cena.
That's still a bad deal.
Yeah. So.
I mean, here's another factor. Do we get a new belt?
No. We're going to keep... I feel like they just debuted that new belt not even a year ago. Why would they get rid of it?
Undisputed champion. That's a fair argument. Do we get a new belt?
I
hope it's not one of those ugly-ass ones that they were going to put up there, too. Out of all the belts, that's the nicest one. Have you seen the other belts I'm going to put up there?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Those were all hideous. That was the nicest one, the one that we got. And I just started liking it now, to be honest with you. There's tons of factors. We both agreed before we went on the air, we don't want a screwy finish. Who should win?
I really have no interest in either of them being the top guy. I mean, considering 2 years ago at TLC, I was excited to see both Bryan and Punk as heavyweight and WWE champion. I feel like as the internet fan, Ring of Honor fan, I would like to see those two fight for the unified title. Or even back when they first did this in 2001, you had the 2 established guys like Austin and The Rock.
Poffo interview, going back to it, yeah.
Huh?
That brings up the Poffo interview. You reminded me of it because you mentioned that last night.
You had Austin and Rock, and then you also had 2 up-and-comers like Jericho and Angle. I wouldn't have even minded seeing like that tournament style for this one, where you would have had a combination of Punk, Cena, Orton, and Bryan, and the 2 winners, and then maybe that would be Bryan's chance to kind of have like a Jericho performance and maybe beat Orton and Cena in one night.
Right. And like Poffo said, going back to the Poffo interview that we mentioned before the break, Cena and Orton at their pinnacles, you could create a new star, and Jericho was that new star at that time. Something that I brainstormed with a buddy of mine, would it have been cool had they did a tournament from Rumble all the way to Mania to crown an undisputed champion? Would the crowd have been invested in that all the way through?
I don't know if
that's a fantastic option. 3-month build-up to who's going to be the champion.
But then again, that brings up the Rumble, and what would happen with the Rumble winner, or what would...
If you go that route, the Rumble winner would be guaranteed, and then the winner of the tournament would be a chamber. And then you build up.
Yeah,
you have the identity. Here's the guy.
Yeah, I don't think the finals should be at Mania.
They get a month of build-up, too. Now, if you have this hokey finish, you still have questions for the Rumble.
Yeah, but then we've had shitty finishes for the last couple of pay-per-views. So.
Yeah, from August to now. So
it's at the point where I didn't even want to stream Survivor Series.
What if they just go with the opposite belts? First of all, each of those guys just get another title reign, because God forbid the title reigns be separate now. I'm just saying. Each of those guys get another title reign, and they're going to wrestle again, in theory.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, the WWE title is more identifiable with Cena, and I feel like the heavyweight title is more identifiable with Orton.
Agree.
It does feel like they've kind of switched belts. I mean, that is an option that... I think
that's a benefit to SmackDown, though, having Cena there and having him as a champion. That's a benefit for SmackDown, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think Cena was on last week's SmackDown, though. I don't think he was on it. I don't think he was on last week's SmackDown.
I mean, I guess we'll see next week. We'll go more in depth into TLC and some of the other matches on the card, all the handicap matches on the card, and
I mean, that's a tough match to have twice.
yeah.
That's a tough match to have twice with the two top guys and
The two top factions.
Two top factions.
But
They're
we'll
not
see.
going to be the same match.
Oh, definitely.
That's for sure because none of those was at three. None of those 8 guys had the same style. So it's just going to be really
Interesting to watch.
Don't blink because you just might miss it.
So next week we'll get more in depth on TLC. We'll go into the matches, predictions.
Next week we'll talk about TLC. We'll do the recap
of the Slammies
awards. That's gonna be fantastic.
We'll see how our predictions panned out. We'll see if I'm
pan out.
going to be a Slammy award-winning co-host.
That's gonna be pretty interesting. And who knows what else we'll talk about next week? It's gonna be a pretty interesting week. Remember, we're coming off a pay-per-view. And all roads lead to the Rumble, and we all know where that leads to. So,
That's it.
I don't know. I mean, could you pick a winner right now?
For the Rumble?
For the TLC match
Oh,
and
the
the
TLC.
Rumble?
I see them going with Orton.
Yeah.
Just because Cena already has too many title reigns, so
I'm gonna go with Orton.
they might just give it to Orton or have him. They'll screw over Cena. I mean, in a match like that, you could find a way to take Cena out or have a lot
There's tons of options.
interference, and it won't be a disqualification, and Cena doesn't look bad. As far as the Rumble, I think it's going to be either Punk or Bryan.
Punk and Bryan? Yeah, I'm going to go Punk for the Rumble. But
I seem to keep leaning towards those guys, but those are my two favorites right now. So
I mean, I think either one of those guys are
Yeah.
definitely worthy and candidate. I don't think any of the guys that are breaking out are ready for a Rumble win.
no, not yet.
And,
I can see Reigns having like a Diesel performance and
Yeah.
eliminating a ton of Diesel or Kane, just
Yeah.
eliminating a shitload of people.
And I don't see any of the guys that they've been ignoring, like Ryder or Big E or Axel or Hawkins, like pulling up out of nowhere. I mean, I don't see.
I can see Big E maybe
I
having a
don't see
good.
Hawkins and Ryder being in the Rumble, quite frankly. No offense to them, because they should be in it. Really,
I can see Big E having a pretty decent performance at the Rumble as
Big
well.
E should be a breakout star too. How is Kofi going to survive again?
Maybe he can slap the Miz on his way out of the ring. I don't
Maybe
know.
or maybe I just can't. He comes up with something every year, Kofi. I give it to him. Definitely creative. Thank you all for listening to Overtime. No. Thank you all for listening to the For Life podcast. Next week, join us. When you're listening to your podcast, you are listening to it for life. Thank you all for joining us. Take it easy.
The shit. I said, clap your hands. He said, clap your hands. And then you move your feet. Oh, baby, to the beat. Come on now. Come on, everybody, let's sing together. you're breaking my heart, baby. How would you like an apple to come down your head? If that ain't enough, baby, I'll do the strut up and down your